Hello. Good afternoon. So this talk is about the GitLab, as we have it as a tool in SUSE, about its past, about the present, what we have, and what we're planning for the future. The first things I wanted to tell you is about, let's say, caretakers, the people who are behind the things, and how that things works, because it changed last year, and I have a feeling that not everybody get that message how that changed. So basically, we don't have any infra team anymore. We split that big team into different teams with more focus on specific tasks. So there is like a picture, and I will start with this foundational services. That's in the pyramid down. It's people who are working in the DC, who are installing the servers, and are able to help you with physical work there. Then we have a team which we call core. That's the guys who kind of work about all the core services. They take care of the DHCP, DNS, they care about KVM clusters and storages and things like that. And on the top of the pyramid, we have like people who take care of authentication, which is primary at the moment IDP, and also the Okta and all NIS and stuff like that, plus the guys who take care of the network. So I am in none of these parts. This is like I was transferred into the new team, which we called Shared Services Team. It's a small team, but we have only 4 members, and we are focusing on the shared services, which are used by other teams, and kind of didn't fit into that pyramid at all, because like plenty people need the Bugzilla, customers need the Bugzillas, and so on. So we got this set of shared tools. This is like a list of the examples what we actually doing it, and part of these things is also the GitLab and GitHub. So one more thing, we have a GitHub and GitLab. GitHub is cool tool. It's really fine if you store there and publish, let's say, a product, open source product. It's cool, but it's kind of not super convenient to put there, let's say, infrastructure code, how you're building the things inside. Or if you have some specific in-house tools which you don't want to put outside, and that's why we have GitLab. And even though that it can be running as a cloud service, we hosting that GitLab ourselves inside SUSE. Okay. So what we had, I looked into the logs and I found some logs on the server from 2017. Approximately that year we start with the version 9. It's a open source tool, open source licensed tool. We have it from the build service, and that there is a specific repository which is maintained by Darix, and he's doing very good work. It's like his packages are very, very good. So we are running as a virtual machine in the KVM cluster. And until 2023, we had it in the old DC in Nuremberg, but we migrated that tool together with the rest of the things into the new DC, which is located in the Prague. The tool, as I said, is for the inside things like infrastructure tools and stuff like that. So therefore, to use it, you need to have a VPN. It's not a public service and most likely never will be, because if you can put the things publicly, then you can put it on the GitHub, right? It's like make no sense. So the version 9 was a really small, basic one, and it grow over the time. So at the moment, we are on the version 17. And very soon, most likely next week or in next 2 weeks, we will go to the 18, which I think it's kind of big change. Also, the 18 is like an adult tool, right? There's a lot of nice features inside that versions, and I'm looking forward to have it. We have like a lot of projects inside that, like 8,000 projects, right? And we did almost 96,000 merge requests and 500,000 pipelines runs. It's like, man, it's like really, really huge things. At the moment, we have like 2 VMs actually, but one of them is a production VM, which is what you know, what you're working with. And second one is a staging one, where we doing the tests of the updates. Like even though that the packages are in the very good qualities, sometimes happens something during the update. The GitLab is like a very huge package with a lot of dependency on the Ruby gems. So we need to test it before we put the things into the production. We have there like 14 gigabytes database and more than 2 terabytes raw data, which is really huge. Like just to back up the things usually take me something like 20 minutes, you know. So sometimes the releases are going very fast. You know, usually it's definitely one release of the update once a month. Sometimes two times per month, sometimes 3 times. But why it is like that? Because they usually find them some bug, critical bug, and we need to quickly patch it. We're trying to find a way to how to make it as quick as is possible, so the downtimes of this tool is not so hard. But doing the amount of the specifically the database, and that I need to dump it before I do the updates. In case of problems, I can then restore the database and go back to the point before the update. It takes that time, you know. So that's what we have it. I want to talk also about some features which are in that tool, and there maybe are known, maybe not known. And one of them is relatively new. So I guess just maybe one team is using it, and that's really not so good, because if it is more famous, it can get, you know, you can get a lot of things from that. So one of these things is runners. Runners are basically clients which execute CI/CD pipelines. We, as a department, a society, and our shared services team, we provide 4 runners. 2 of them are for, let's say, standard jobs, and 2 of them are with specific tasks for the long-term jobs. So the long-term jobs don't block the standard ones. For this purpose, we have in the data center 2 bare metal servers, which we call workers. They have like a lot of CPUs, RAM, and disks, so it's quite a powerful machine, and it can run plenty of CI/CD jobs in the same time, which is good. But that's not everything, because also the project owners can have defined in their specific projects their own runners, and they can, for their project, run that things on their machine. And this machine is not controlled by us, and it's available only for your project. So you are a project owner, and you have your own runner, okay? So I look into the statistics, and together we have 104 runners, which is like 100 runners are from you, from the owners, and 4 are actually from us. Yep. So that project runners we don't control. So we don't have access there, and how it is set up, it's basically totally up to you. Okay. What is important to know that they supposed to be, let's say, up to date and updated. We don't support the older than 14.8, but the recommendation from the GitLab generally is that the GitLab runners should be as a same minor version as we have it. So if we are now on the 17, which means your runners should be also the 17. I looked into the logs, and actually that's not totally how it is. We still have there some runners with version 16, and we still have there some, or at least definitely one is version 15. Like, I don't know, guys, like, it is confirm, what kind of OS you have there with this version. So I want to ask you to, if you are project owner and if you have your own runners, please update it. I would say definitely this month or next month when we have a version 18, that would be a great opportunity if you update your runners. The problem is that it is working if you have older runners, but it could have a compatibility issues, and the jobs could be not working properly as it should be. So you can have a mixed results, which are actually not totally good one. Okay. So the next things what I have there is pages. We provide their service, which is allowing publish your code as static websites. You can build the documentation on that things. You can build nice pages about your project or whatever. I put here one example about the open platform, and that the documentation on that pages looks very good. However, it is still an internal tool, and that pages will be available only for the SUSE employees who are able to use VPN, because we will not publish that things outside. Okay, so there are quite easy instructions how you can enable this function for your project. You definitely need to have CDCI enabled for the pipeline, and then just follow the instructions and build. The pages actually publish only the part which you tell to publish. Like this is the documentation, and it build it. So it doesn't publish all the code, of course. Okay, so then in the beginning of this year, where all these team changes happened, and so on, we also were working on the container register feature. So that one is relatively new. It's working from the February 2025, and basically it allows you to build and use containers directly inside of GitLab. So you don't need to, for example, using containers outside of GitLab. You don't need to using containers from the registry SUSE, for example, or from the IBS OBS. You can take the container, you can build your own container and put it into your own project to be used for whatever you wanted to do with this. For any new project which you will just create it, you will have these things enabled by default, but meaning enabled doesn't mean that there are any containers. You just need to set it up, So there is instructions how these things should be done, how you set up your project, how you upload the container, how you build the container, how you can get the container from that, and so on. Before the conference, I revisit that instructions and I write them into the Confluence page. So I guess it's very nice and very easily. Only things which I wanted to mention here is that if you're using these container services, you should also set up a access token. It's described on that Confluence page how to do this, because theoretically you can use the container without the token, and you can theoretically take your username and password and put it into some pipeline or script, but I don't think it's smart, So it's better to use that way. So you make a specific token, you give him a specific read or write access into the containers for the specific purpose what you need it. So don't be afraid. Try to use it. I think it's kind of useful tool. Okay, so about the future. So what we wanted to do with this, as I said, we changed the team, and I'm no longer doing everything what I used to do, and now I have like a more time to focus on the things, and I have a time to and plan that's how to improve GitLab as a service. It's a great tool. It's really cool, but it will need to have some work to make it even more better. What we're going to do definitely very soon is that we're going to integrate the tool with the new SUSE ID identity tool. That tool is like in development process, and it's supposed to replace IDP and Okta and NIS, basically everything which we have it. It's not done yet, but when it's like ready, we will definitely integrate GitLab with this. I mentioned that the updates take a time, and it's not so smoothly as it is. I wanted to look into these options, how we can make it more automated, how we can make it much faster and better. The problem with the GitLab is that when they have like a version 17 and version 18, for example, they put new features inside the tool, and that new features have new configuration options. Okay, but we already have our own config options, old ones. So there is like a difference between our config and let's say default config, and we need to take the new part of the config with the default settings, maybe adjust it if you want it, and insert it into our current config. So there is some not easily automated way for these things, and it's like up to the administrator to decide it if we wanted to enable new feature, don't enable it, and what kind of parameters we wanted to have there. These things we usually first testing in the staging, and once we make agreement, okay, it works like that, we can make it also happen in the production. So I wanted to look into these things, how can be automated, and that will actually go with the one of the point which I wanted to try to build the service more HA, like have like a HA proxy in the front at let's say 1, 2, maybe 3 nodes in the backend, which could actually handle the traffic and make it more resilient and, for example, short down the time for the updates. So you like, if instead of 20 minutes, have there 2, something like that, So I'm not sure how I will do it, but I will look into that in future. So we also have a like plan maybe for the next year to build a second instance inside, let's say, a disaster recovery backup data center, which was actually very soon finished, and machines are moving in and so on. That one would be, let's say, in the standby mode, and in case of horrible catastrophic scenario that we lose the primary data center, we will be able to trigger some procedure and start this second instance, which supposed to have let's say, up-to-date data, maybe 1 hour later, maybe 1 day later, but something to start with so you can continue working on your projects. And we will also improve monitoring for this service. It's at the moment it's very good, it's fine, but sometimes give us like a false warning where, for example, the service is getting a little bit slower and the monitoring is already reporting us it's down, but actually it's not. It's just slower. So we need to look into these alarms and tune them that it will actually really tell us when it is done and not when it's like going too slower. So that's all my plans. For the questions, are you using GitLab in SUSE? Yeah. Do you like it? Okay. Any complaints? Do you want to see there something, differently? Just don't wait to, tell me, and we can look into that things. If you, for example, missing there any feature, I didn't mention there all the features because there's like a lot of them. But if you see some feature which we could use, tell me. There is one limitation. As I mentioned in the beginning, we are using the free version. So only the features which in the tool are available in the free version, we can use it. Okay, we don't have the premium version. We looked in the past into the way if we could, maybe buy it. But in our use case, with number of users, projects, it was horribly expensive. So the management said, no, we already have a GitHub, and we pay for that. So why we should pay it twice? So we are limited into this free version. Okay.
On? Hello? Yes. Really cool. Yeah, we use it. And my question would be regarding the pages. You said they are reachable via VPN. Only via Infra or the...
Both.
Both?
Yeah, I don't think so. It's limited. Like, I maybe didn't mention this, but the GitLab is accessible via the VPN, which means like corporate or the engineering, both of them.
Yeah, that I knew, but I because that would be interesting to us, so I asked. Thanks.
Yeah.
Cool work.
Okay. Maybe one more question.
Hi, so it's really cool, but will there ever be a public GitLab as well, or only?
As I said, most likely not. Because if you have a data which you would say I wanted to get them public, I would put them to the GitHub because that makes sense. It's easy. The difference is between these things, not just it's inside and outside, but also the GitLab. What we do there, we control. So nobody can manipulate with these things. Nobody can, mangle it. We have a full control of all the processes which you do, which are there. If you put the things into GitHub, it's cloud service owned by Microsoft. There are some regulation rules, but you never know what will happen with that. If it is open source or public data, it's fine. But in our cases, most of our cases are usually like internal tools, the stuff like a salt stack infrastructure and things like that, which we don't want to. Even though that you can say that the repository in the GitHub is private, doesn't mean actually nobody can see it.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. What I was more thinking of is there is a sentiment in a lot of open source communities to move away from GitHub. Because Microsoft owns it, Microsoft has done shitty things in the past, like running AI all over the code bases. So I was thinking, is there some sentiment inside of SUSE as well, or is it just some engineers?
I don't know about that things, but maybe happen that management will make some a general decision and move out. But in our case, it would means most likely we would have to, and I would recommend to buy the premium version.
Yeah.
Which we already tried to get once, and it was very expensive. So that will be most likely money talking. You know, you have like this amount of money you put into Microsoft for GitHub, but this guy can do the same things, but he wants to like what kind of money? You know, that's
it doesn't really always make sense from an economic
yeah,
standpoint.
and like
I get that.
in the end, they will offer the same, right? Yeah. It's like a Git repository. You know, just.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Just go on microphone, Sanda. You know, don't be afraid to walk there.
There are technical reasons why we don't put some things to GitHub. There are AIC 256 signatures that are required for source open source org.
And what was the question?
Because whether there are sentiments to move from GitHub.
Yeah.
GitHub does not support cryptographically strong signatures.
Yeah. So
there are something like not sentiments, but technical reasons why we are moving from GitHub in some cases.
Yeah, and like theoretically, we could start one instance to be outside, but as I mentioned, we are just 4 people in the team, you know, so not sure. You know?
So I just wanted to mention that we talk about GitLab as internal, and there's GitHub external.
Correct.
We also have Gitty that is external. So if you want to put stuff that is not on GitHub, you can put it on Gitty.
I need to check these things, how that is set up, you know, and who control it, because I this is the first time when I heard about that. Okay.
This is the only software which has cryptographically strong signatures.
Okay.
GitHub currently doesn't support repositories with cryptographically strong signatures. GitHub.
GitHub. Yeah.
If you try to upload the Git repository that uses AIC 256, it's not possible.
Okay. Oh, okay. Doesn't matter. So, okay, Maciej?
Just very stupid and obvious question. Why not use GitLab.com?
Well,
why are people preferring GitHub to GitLab.com?
Like the GitHub at the moment is like an official SUSE tool, right? So that's what we have, and there is a SUSE code which we put there. You know, you can search it and see it. I don't know about the any rules which would say you can also put the SUSE code to GitHub.com. You know, I'm not aware about that, and that would be like why we would do it. You know, why we put it on the 2 places. It will create only the mess. Okay, I think it's time. My laptop is sleeping almost. So that's it, guys.